Hello everyone, hi, how are you guys doing today? Welcome back to another episode reaction of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This is Haarute, my name is Matt, hello, what's up? So, Buffy. Last time on Buffy, what happened? We set our daughters on fire. But more tragically so, Willow's mom now knows that Willow is dating a musician, so that's a little bit, that's something she has to deal with now. I think we're getting ready to begin. Well, let me just say that, once again, I am recording this episode quite late on my schedule, which has been obliterated by the month of February. I will say that this past, couple of days, we got hit by, a polar wave or something. I don't fucking know. I'm not a meteorologist. I don't know how that works, but it became really chilly. Not cold, but unusually chilly for what is considered to be summer in one of the hottest areas of the world. It was the fuck. However, what's unfortunate about that is that the days before that already kind of fucked me up so hard that I spent that entire time just sick. So I'm just sitting here man, I couldn't catch a break at all. Today I feel a little bit better. I'm still kind of zombified, and also my neck and back hurts, but that's a different issue. But anyway, today is decent, so I feel like we can record, so that's what we're going to be doing today. Patreon, I forgot to mention last week because I was just too much in a rush. Check out the link in the description below or the pop-up on the screen. You can support the channel and watch early episodes. I am not going to promise any specific timelines because I'm fucked up, but it's there. You can support the channel mainly, which is base the groceries. That's nice. Anyway, let us begin. So Buffy the Vampire Slayer season 3 episode 12. Let's go. Is this training?
Right in the heart.
Satisfied?
I'm not sure that's the word.
I didn't mean satisfied
No, I wasn't trying to.
Because actually, I do have a thing.
Oh, thing. Date?
Nice attempt at casual. Older man. Very handsome. Likes it when I call him daddy.
Your father. It is your father, right?
Try to concentrate.
Asking for a lot.
Okay, so here's the deal.
Wood. Okay, so that scene with Angel earlier was funny to me because I was remembering a post I saw on Tumblr, I think, the other day. That was essentially said something like the best kinds of sex scenes in media are the sex scenes where it's not a sex scene but it very clearly is a sex scene. Headbutt always works. Jonathan Joestar move. He just killed himself. He literally just stabbed himself. My man was not a good fighter. Anyway, what was that?
Child, something's wrong.
Wrong?
Oh, is she missing? Ooh, something's happening to her.
No, not sick. I can't get sick. My dad's coming to take me to the ice show.
Forgo patrolling until you feel yourself again.
No, I just need to spend a little more time training.
Yep, good joke.
Every year, my dad buys me cotton candy and one of those souvenir programs that has all the pictures and, okay, it's a big dumb girly thing, but I love it.
Valid.
Ice is cool. It's water, but it's not.
I think it's sweet you and your dad have a tradition.
Thank you, Oz. I like that. I agree.
18's a big one, Buffy. You can be drafted. You can vote not to be drafted.
I'd love to watch an episode where Buffy gets someone to do jury duty or something like that. Something so completely outside of what the show normally is.
From your father. His quarterly projections are unraveling and he can't afford to take off right now.
Oh. Alright, he's not there.
I mean, if you want me to take him.
Oh.
I was just thinking it might be nice to have a quiet birthday.
I'm literally covering the light in order to see these people's faces. Because whenever a shot is dark, and also this low quality because the show is old, I literally cannot make out people's faces with this light on my face.
Slayer's preparation is nearly complete.
Ooh, so I know about the Slayer.
They do pieces from...
These gemstones are too important here. They have been in 2 scenes, so they matter. There was one shot of her earlier that really focused on one of the gemstones. Did it suck her energy or something?
Buffy, I think we should concentrate now. I look for the floor at its center.
Something happened. What the fuck? Okay. Let's just see where this goes.
Oh, sorry, did I zone out on you?
Didn't you feel something hurting right now? So.
Good night.
Uh-huh.
So how's it going with Amy the rat?
Good. She loves her new ex.
Oh, Amy's still a rat.
Don't do that to me. I waited for you at the Bronze all night. I'm not through here.
Oh, I beg to differ.
She doesn't have the strength. Whoa.
What is wrong with you? Are you okay?
No, she's not. Also, Buster Wolf. This is an interesting episode.
I
Let's
just
see
got
what's
swung
up.
down by some no-neck and rescued by Cordelia.
Did someone take Giles's place?
We'll get to the bottom of whatever's causing this anomaly.
Promise me.
Yes. I give you my word.
Cruciamentum is not easy for Slayer or Watcher. It's been done
Cruciamentum.
this way for a dozen centuries.
Okay.
Never.
An archaic exercise in cruelty. To unleash that on her? If any one of the council still had actual contact with the Slayer, they would see, but I'm the one in the thick of it.
Which is why you're not qualified to make this decision. You're too close.
That's not true.
She must have cunning, imagination.
She also has feelings because she's a normal person.
Your Buffy will be stronger for it.
No, she's gonna have trust issues. And she's gonna be even more difficult to manage. And we're gonna get to Dark Tama where she fucking dies like we saw a couple episodes ago. Alright, so this is what's happening.
Kralik, your pills.
Karl,
Open your mouth.
I like seeing the Watcher Council or whatever doing some shady shit.
Maybe what we should be looking for is something like Slayer Kryptonite.
Oh god, he got it right.
If I don't get my powers back, then I don't. I'll deal.
I like that she has a bruise there that I guess she got when she got pushed and she fell or whatever. Oh, this guy's gonna get fucked up, I think. Yeah, I didn't close the door. Oh, one of his arms is free. Oh, y'all dead. And Buffy doesn't have any powers.
Can't reach it.
Get closer, and then that's when he gets you. You passed the threshold. You're fucked. Alright, so we have a juiced up, coked up berserker vampire and a Slayer with no powers. Yes, Faith around? We're gonna need her.
Before I was the Slayer, I don't want to say shallow, but...
I watched the movie. You were shallow.
Angel, if I'm not the Slayer, what do I do? What do I have to offer?
I saw you before you became the Slayer. I watched you. Saw you called.
A little bit weird to say, but...
And I loved you.
Why?
Because I could see your heart. And I worried that it would be bruised or torn. And more than anything in my life, I wanted to keep it safe. To warm it with my own.
Romantic, creepy.
That's beautiful.
I guess.
Or taken literally incredibly gross.
Yeah. You ate that man? Oh, now we have another vampire then. Oh, we're fucked.
Ever have a tune you can't get out of your head? Keeps playing over and over and over.
September by Earth, Wind and Fire.
Hello?
Blood, dead body. Blood. Okay. This is when you run. Yep. I like that. I like that he was so disgusted that he's just like, I'm just gonna run. Okay, so you gotta go to Buffy and you gotta give her powers back. If you can. Oh, fuck that.
How much for a lap dance for me and my buddy?
Walk me home, Angel. No, I'm fine. I can take care of myself.
That's the vampire.
You know, I would...
Help me! Somebody, please! Help me!
I like that those two dudes that we just saw, did you hear that girl screaming? They were like, yeah, fuck that, we're not getting involved in that. Okay, cool.
I can't be just a person. I can't be helpless like that.
There's gonna be an interesting discussion after this episode. He knows, but this is gonna be really fucked up to tell her that I did this.
It's an organic compound of muscle relaxants and adrenal suppressors. The effect is temporary.
Okay.
Be yourself again in a few days. It's given to the Slayer once if she reaches her 18th birthday.
If
the vampire you were to face has escaped. He murdered, tortured more than a dozen women before he was
who
committed.
gives a fuck? This doesn't matter. Yeah.
You bastard.
Shut the fuck up. Like,
All this time you saw what it was doing to me. All this time and you didn't say a word.
I wanted to.
Liar.
My role in this was very specific. Direct you to the old boarding house on Prescott Lane.
I can't hear this.
Buffy, please.
How could you do this to me?
I am deeply sorry, Buffy, and you have to understand.
If you touch me, I'll kill you.
Because I've told you this, the test is invalidated. You will be safe now, I promise you. Now, whatever I have to do to deal with Kralik and to win back your trust.
You stuck a needle in me. You poisoned me.
What's going on? Oh God, is the world ending? I have to research a paper on Bosnia for tomorrow.
I don't know you.
Did something take her memory?
Cordelia, could you please drive me home?
Of course.
oh fuck, they're gonna go after her. Well, they can't get in, but Buffy's gonna try to get in, so they're gonna wait for her outside. Just don't go outside!
Mother.
I mean, he has a flip for the dramatic, you gotta get him that. He's kinda like the master in that regard. Man, this is a rough episode for our girl. And it's not even done yet. Well, that's fucked. Preparation.
My own mother was a person with no self-respect of her own. So, she tried to take mine. But she's dead to me now. Mostly because I killed and ate her.
I mean, she's just dead in general, fam.
Your face will be the first thing she eats. I have a problem with mothers. I'm aware of that.
Usually refer to those as mommy issues. It would be cool if Giles managed to do something to like redeem himself a little bit here, but I don't think this drama is gonna be resolved within the episode. This is something that's gonna last because I think it's bad enough. What are you doing here? This man may be a vampire, by the way.
Interestingly, I don't give a rat's ass about the council's orders. There will be no test.
The test has already begun. Your Slayer entered the field of play about 10 minutes ago. I returned there just as she entered. And Giles, we've no business.
This is not business.
Yeah, man, he's not a vampire. He's just a bastard. Yes. Yeah, so what we needed to do is give Buffy performance enhancement drugs so it could counteract the other drugs. Just pump her full of asteroids. Okay, so that's one of them taken care of. Not dead, but...
Why did she come to the dark of the woods?
Oh man, this is the fucked up room. Where we can't even see the body, it's so fucked up. What the fuck is this room? Is this all pictures of Joyce? Holy fuck, they had free time. How much was on that camera roll?
Stray from the path, you will lose your way.
Oh, the drugs. Stop him. Where's your pills, bitch?
Where are they?
I hope those are like different pills or something.
Do you have any idea? Oh my.
What did she give him? Oh! Get fucked. Interesting death. There's the other vampire. Yes. Giles has some? Okay. I just remembered.
Congratulations, you passed. Exhibited extraordinary courage and clear-headedness in battle. The council is very pleased. I understand that you're upset.
You understand nothing. You set that monster loose and he came after my mother.
You think the test was unfair.
I think you better leave town before I get my strength back.
I've recommended to the council, and they've agreed that you be relieved of your duties as watcher immediately. You're fired. Your affection for your charge has rendered you incapable of clear and impartial judgment. You have a father's love for the child, and that is useless to the cause. It would be best if you had no further contact with the Slayer.
I'm not going anywhere.
No, well, I didn't expect you would adhere to that.
Okay. So we're getting a new watcher, I guess. I like that. I like that they specifically referred to that as like the love of a parent.
Well, it's just, I mean, he's been fired. He's unemployed. He's between jobs.
Giles isn't going anywhere, Will. He's still librarian. Just feel better when I get my strength back.
Give you a hand with that, little lady?
He's not gonna be able to.
Oh, Will, give me a hand with that.
Boy, that was an eventful episode. So, okay. I like that episode. I like the drama of Giles doing something that's just betraying Buffy's trust. I like it. It's fucked up and it's sad. I feel bad for Buffy. I genuinely feel really bad for her at like a couple moments in this episode. But the drama that this brings into the table it's pretty great. But it feels like by the end of the episode she's kind of forgiven him at least a little bit. Because she's also seeing the consequences of Giles caring, which she didn't believe that he did, but he clearly does. But okay. So, another thing I just want to bring up because I thought about it between ending the episode and recording this, that I was wrong about the crystals because I was for sure thinking that the crystals were a way for her like energy to get sucked. In fact, like that very suspicious scene that I saw earlier, let me rewatch it. Yeah, okay, so the earlier scene before the credits, the opening credits, Giles places the blue crystal in front of her and she looks at it and we see that she's looking directly at it, and then the scene fades into the fight scene with the other vampire dude. So that we just don't see her getting drugged, basically. But that made it so when Sandra was talking about the kryptonite stuff, I was like, no, let him speak. He's actually on the right track here. But no, I was mistaken. It was drugs. The gemstones were just to make Buffy enter in a trance state that she wouldn't be able to notice that she's being drugged. So I guess that's what actually happened. Like I know I saw the drugs. I know I saw Giles injecting her with it, but I didn't know what to think of it. I was sitting here thinking that it was the gems sucking her actual power, and the drugs were just something else. But no, I was just being dumb. But alright, the scene where Giles is just drugging her, like I was just sitting here thinking like, because I wasn't sure what to think. Because to me, that the way that scene looks like, it's like, okay, they're trying to make me like distrust Giles, like doubt Giles, but that's not gonna happen. Like I do trust him. Like I do believe that he cares because we see him care for, I don't know how many fucking episodes of the show I've been watched, but it's like 50 at this point. I believe him. I trust him. So when we see him do something like that, and the way it's directed and framed, it's like, oh, he's doing something bad. He's secretly evil. I'm just sitting here like, not really. So I'm wondering what the reasoning is. I'm sitting here thinking like, maybe he was replaced by someone else. Like maybe this is an illusion. Like maybe he's doing something good that just looks bad. Kind of like Willow in the previous episode. By the way, we got confirmation that Amy's still a rat. So that's a thing. Man, I feel bad for Amy. Like, okay, maybe she enjoys the red life, you know? Maybe she does. She is free of the chains that society places on you. She doesn't have to go to school anymore. She doesn't have to worry about working or whatever. She just gets cheese and gets to run on like a little wheelie thing. She's chilling. So maybe Amy enjoys her life as a rat. I guess Willow needs to give her like proper entertainment of some sort. Like maybe she can read a book. Maybe she can get like books for her to read. Yeah, Amy could go and theoretically read words. I mean, they would be kind of big, but she would have to move like her entire body to like shift and read each line, but she could do it. Maybe she can let the TV on and she's watching like Saturday morning cartoons. She wouldn't be able to change the channel. Maybe she could. I don't know. I mean, Amy can get some entertainment. We just need to give her that, because otherwise she's just gonna be bored out of her mind. But there's a better question here to the... I like how this episode was like pretty important regarding Giles and Buffy and trust and shit. But I'm just talking about like, hey, what is this brain size of Amy right now? Because like, okay, sure, she's a rat. How deep do we want to take the logic here? Because we can just say, well, Amy's aware that she's Amy in the form of a rat. But if we want to be a little bit more realistic, which this is a fantasy, like supernatural show, so whatever. But if we want to be a little bit more realistic, she should have a rat brain, which means that maybe she's not fully aware of her situation or has not retained any of the information that she would normally have as a person. Well, okay, no, there's actual precedent for this. Buffy was turned into a rat at one point. I forgot that there is precedent. Okay, but we didn't question Buffy what life as a rat was. I guess that's something we should have asked before. She wasn't like super weirded out about what happened, so I think that maybe she was aware of her life as a rat. So maybe Amy should be aware of her life as a rat as well. So, okay, we're operating on that logic here. I'm just trying to put in my mind like how the situation is going to be for whenever Amy turns back into being a human. The alternative to that would be that she never becomes a human again. She's just a rat now, which to me would be a little bit sad. I would feel bad for her if that was the case. So I'm hoping that that's not the case, but we'll see. Anyway, that's a whole tangent. Let's go back to the episode. I do like seeing the Watcher Council as a group, because the thing about the Watcher Council is that it is like ever looming. It is always a thing that is a constant since episode 1, but we never really get to see anyone other than Giles. Yeah, sure, we got to see Buffy's first Watcher for like one scene where he didn't really do much. I mean, I watched the movie. I've seen another Watcher, but the canonicity of that movie is not something I should take into account, but it is there. And then we also got a fake Watcher a couple episodes ago, but that wasn't real. And then any other mention of other Watchers have been just talking about the console, talking about their choices, and talking about them like existing, but not seen. Like, we never saw like Kendra's Watcher, I don't think. We never saw Fate's Watcher because she got fucking killed. Something I had an idea for, like before I hit record here, is that maybe Giles could become Fate's Watcher. That could happen. I can see that happening. Like, we have 2 Slayers, therefore we should need 2 Watchers, which is why when that lady showed up a couple episodes ago, I think her name was like Gwendolyn or something like that. When she showed up, I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. So that's why I didn't doubt her immediately. It took a little bit. But it would make sense for Fate to get a Watcher. Could be Giles. Giles is already in town, so why not? They never explicitly stated that like Giles is a bad like Watcher. He's bad at his job. They specifically said that he cares too much. Like, he has like a fatherly love for Buffy, and he's too involved. We can't have that. But Faith is a different person, so we could get Giles to be Faith's Watcher. That would make sense, actually. Like, that makes a lot of sense to me, because Giles is gonna stay in the plot. And they even say so in this episode. He's like, I'm not going anywhere. And the Watcher man is like, oh, we know. We just don't want you to interfere with the real Watcher and whatever they want to do with Buffy. So what that says is that we're gonna get a new character introduced into the plot, and we have to like follow their commands. I mean, we don't really know what kind of person that new Watcher is gonna be. It could be someone that like maybe warms up to the gang and like also becomes someone like Giles, who kind of just lets them do whatever. But it could also just be a super strict person. We'll see how that goes. But in order to keep Giles around in the plot, I think it would make a lot of sense for him to like become Fate's Watcher, and then we get to have Giles and Faith become like characters that matter in a plot. Like, I mean, we already have 2 Slayers, but now we would have like 2 completely like separate like Slayer groups, you know? So yeah, I'm eager to meet this new Watcher. Let's see what that is about. Like, I actually got excited when we got introduced to the fake Watcher a couple episodes ago, because I enjoy the idea of having a new Watcher, like a new cast member. And I like how much of a stick in the mud she was, but that were off like 2 minutes in, because I was like, okay, no, that scene was so incredibly boring that she's gonna leave within the same episode, and I was right. But I enjoy something new to throw into the dynamic here, so I would like to see this new Watcher. But okay, we need to talk about the emotional weight of everything, really, because I think that the main thing that mattered in this episode was definitely Buffy's feelings and emotions, and Giles to a degree as well, because we get to see Giles like essentially going against the council and being like, we shouldn't be doing this. This is a very archaic practice that honestly I feel like if the council themselves interacted with a Slayer nowadays, they would realize that this is fucking stupid. He's right. This older like gentleman, like councilman, he's like, no, we must do this. It's a tradition that we do for every Slayer to prove that she's good, and we need to make sure that she's strong, or whatever the fuck he was going on about. And like there's a moment where he's like, don't worry, if she's as good as you said that she is, then we shouldn't have anything to worry about. She's gonna make it just fine, and she's gonna defeat the vampire, and she's gonna come off stronger for it. And I'm just sitting here like, I don't know about that, man. Like, I watched the alternate timeline episodes a couple of weeks ago, and I remember that in that episode, the reason why everything was fucked was because she was a heartless bitch. Like, they want to turn her into that version of Buffy. Like, the version of Buffy that's literally just like a killing machine, and that's all that she is. And I said in that episode that the reason why Buffy is good, and it's the way that she is, and she's successful, and we see that because in that timeline she fucking dies, and in this one she doesn't, and in that timeline the world is fucked, but in this one it isn't. It's because Buffy has her friends. It's that Buffy cares. Is that's what makes Buffy Buffy, is her connections to the world and the people in it, rather than the lack of them. So whenever this this Watcher man said, like that's what we're gonna do it, she's gonna be stronger for it, I'm sitting here like, she's gonna be significantly weaker mentally, because what you're doing is that you're using someone that she trusts, someone that's close to her, in order to not just betray her trust, just the fact that it's like, okay, you gotta hypnotize her and then drug her and then throw her into a death pit. And it's just like, yeah, no, that's not gonna work out, because like even if everything went according to plan, even if everything went fine, even if she was victorious over this vampire and nothing bad had happened, if Joyce wasn't kidnapped and she had won, it still would be bad, because what would have happened is that she would be like, Giles, fuck you, I don't want to talk to you anymore. She would be the same way towards all the other Watchers and shit. And who knows what she could have done. She could have run away again, like she did in season 2. She could have gone off and killed herself. She could have gone off and killed them. Maybe she could have just decided, you know what? Fuck it. I'll be your fucking clown. You want me to be a clown? I'll be your clown. She turns into Magic Megora at the end of Yakuza 0. She could do that. Play Yakuza 0 is a good game. So like, you, the audience, as you're watching this, you're sitting here thinking like, whatever they want to do is just not good. There is like 0 chance that this is gonna end up being a good thing for Buffy, or for anyone really. But Giles is in this awkward position where everything that he is a Watcher, and this is the way it's always been. He's another thing, but we're gonna talk about that in a second. Like, he's always been the Watcher, and that's kind of his thing. He cares a lot about his books, he cares a lot about procedure, he cares a lot about caution, he cares a lot about training. He's very dutiful. He's a very dutiful person. So he is stuck in this weird position where he's like, okay, we gotta do this thing that we always do. It's part of what we do, but I don't think this is good. I don't think this works, and I don't want to do it. But he has to, so I guess he just goes through with it. Everything goes wrong, the vampire gets freed, and then we have a confrontation where he has to tell Buffy what's going on. And that's a heartbreak of a scene for Buffy and for you watching Buffy, because you care about Buffy. It feels like shit because Giles also doesn't really make up much of a case for himself, you know? He's like, no, Buffy, we gotta do this, you gotta listen to me. And Buffy's like, shut the fuck up. Giles is at one point going off about like, oh, this dangerous vampire, this is his story or whatever. And Buffy just fucking yeets the drugs at him back. And she's just like, shut up, I don't care. Because like, it doesn't matter. Whatever the fuck he's talking about doesn't matter. Like, whatever the fuck the story about this vampire is, whatever the fucking procedure is, whatever the council is saying, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters right now is that this was someone that is close to Buffy, and it's someone that Buffy trusts. Buffy doesn't have a lot of people like that, so the few people that she does have that she trusts are people that matter a lot. This person just betrayed that trust by doing a lot of fucked up shit. It's very shady what he did. Just hypnotize her, drug her, and like the thing is that like you actually see that's the other thing, is that you actually do get to see how much this affects Buffy throughout the episode, and that's why this works. There's a really cool line that Buffy says. There's like a couple of them, but the one I remember is her saying just, I don't know you. Like, basically just, who are you? Because yes, that's where we are at this point. The fact that Buffy trusts this man so much that whenever he does something like this, that it's so incredibly out of something someone you would trust would do, she's just like, I don't fucking know you. And like, whenever it's something like that, it's to the point that like, that completely shatters everything you know about that person. It's not just like, oh, they made a mistake, or like, oh, they are not acting the way they are usually acting. It's one of those things where it's like, it's something so incredibly out of what Giles would do normally, that Buffy is just like, you're not him. Like, you're not that person. Meaning, like, there's only two ways to go here. Either one, you are not him, meaning you got to replace, or two, I never knew Giles to begin with. Because if you are doing shit like this, it means that the person that I thought I know, I didn't know. So that completely shatters everything about Giles that we've known since episode 1. In Buffy's mind, she's just thinking like, I don't know this guy. I cannot trust this guy. Fuck this guy. I don't want to see him anymore. Like, that's the level of stuff that he did. And you, the audience, I mean, there is an explanation as to why he would do something like that, which is, you know, watch her procedure or whatever. And like, we know how much Giles cares about being a watcher and following procedure, so sure, you kind of believe it. But I feel like during that scene, Giles would be like even more upset at the fact that he has to say this, you know? Like, in a way, it felt like he was like almost defending himself. If I would have been Giles in that situation, I wouldn't have defended myself at all. I would have just been like, yeah, I'm sorry. That's awful. And I know that it is awful. And I'm not going to try and pretend that it's not. I'm not going to try and pretend that, like, you know, like, this procedure or whatever is like more important than our trust, because like, it's really not. But like, I am being forced to do this. Because that's also kind of the reality of the situation, is that he's being forced to do this. Because if he doesn't do it, then they're just going to be like, all right, you're gone. Like, fuck you. You're no longer a watcher. We're going to bring another person to do it for you. So like, this is going to happen anyway. So like, I kind of wish that that was like something that Giles would have expressed more, but he just didn't whatsoever. So to Buffy, this just means that the person that she thought she knew just doesn't exist. So it makes sense that she was as distraught as she was. But I enjoy that this essentially properly introduces like a couple of members of like the Watcher Order, and we get to see that they're all a bunch of bastards. But this doesn't mean that every Watcher is a bastard. It means that some of the rules and some of the like procedures that they have in place and traditions are shit that is just gonna be awful for us, people that give a shit about the characters and not so much about, hey, you want a vampire slayer, here you go. It's like, no, we actually care about the people, right? So we could get Watchers that are kind of cool and Watchers that we can kind of like make them more human by interacting with them, and they can see that this is just a child that we're dealing with. But then there's also just, we're gonna get a lot of this guy that we met in this episode, that he literally walks in and he's like, yep, 2 of my men died and a child is currently drugged and fighting a monster, and I'm just gonna sip on my coffee. This is just what we do here. We're gonna get a lot of this guy, like not just this guy, but like this kind of guy. I'm guessing that this is just gonna be a thing that we see in the future regarding Watchers. So that's interesting. I like whenever there's a layer of nuance here, because it would be so easy to just be like, hey, these are the good guys and these are the bad guys. But in reality, we get stuff like, yeah, these Watchers are kind of bastards. The Secret Order thing. They're all a bunch of heartless fucks. And then we get something like, I don't know, Spike, right? I mean, Angel, of course. Angel is right there. It's a vampire that's also an ally. But then you get someone like Spike, who is a vampire and a bastard and technically an antagonist of sorts, but kind of not anymore. Like, he helped at the end of the previous season, and then this season he showed up. He got therapy and also gave therapy to Buffy and Angel and then left. And that was fun. He gave us one of the best episodes of the show, and it was incredible. So I enjoy how much of the show is evolving into becoming, like, into expanding, seeing more than just, like, you know, the gang of good versus the evil monsters, you know? And a lot of the episodic episodes we get can kind of feel like that, but I enjoy whenever we expand that a little bit. I just remember the scene with Angel where he essentially confesses to Buffy that he saw her from before she became a Slayer, right when she got contacted by the first Watcher, and he saw her fighting and becoming a Slayer in real time. And then he was just like, you know, from that moment I loved you because I saw your pure heart, or whatever the fuck he said. And I'm just sitting here thinking, like, she's like 16 at this point in time. Okay, no, so season 3 she's 18. 2 is 17, 1 is 16. She's like 15 in that moment where she becomes a Slayer. And that is removing the stalker aspect out of here, you know, out of the equation. You know, even if we don't consider the pedophile aspect, we're still having to consider the stalkerish aspect here. And you know, like we've seen that, like, memory where we see that. What the fuck is the deal with Whistler? That was his name, the dude with the hat. We still haven't learned anything about him, but he just showed up and he said something about, like, well, he didn't say anything. Buffy was like, what are you, some kind of mediator between good and evil or some shit? And he was like, wow, really good guess. So maybe that's what he is. I remember that. Yeah, we haven't learned anything about him, but in that flashback we saw that, you know, Angel was kind of like rotting away on the streets as a homeless man eating rats. And then this guy was like, okay, well, I'm going to give you meaning in life. So he kind of latched onto Buffy as a result. So it is less creepy when you put it that way. But everything that Angel said in that scene was like, you sure you want to go with that, man? And it was weird because she was like, I love you. And it was like presented as romantic. And Buffy was like, yeah, that's really romantic. And I'm like, is it? Is it? And then they both said, like, actually that's kind of creepy now that I think about it. And I'm like, yeah, maybe that should have been the first thought. But whatever, I guess they're both really into each other, so I guess it's fine. But if I was listening into this conversation, I would just been here like, I mean, I was listening to it, and I was just sitting here doing squinty eyes, just like, we sure you ain't gonna do that? You sure you want to go with that, man? Are you sure this is the direction we want to take? All right, Buffy's 18 now. Sure, she's an adult now, I guess. I mean, the thing about 18 is that's like being an adult legally, but like realistically, it's gonna take like an extra like 7 years, girl. It's fine. 18 doesn't really mean anything. I actually really like the scene. I mean, the confrontation between Buffy and Giles. But then Cordelia just walks into the room and she's like, yeah, I gotta do some homework. Because like it's very easy to forget that this is a library and like it should be used as a library sometimes and not just as like this superhero hangout place. But I like that Cordelia walks in with that. It's funny. She interrupts the drama of the situation. She kind of deflates the tension a little bit and it feels awkward, but I really like that it kind of culminates with Buffy just going, Cordelia, can you give me a ride home? And like she's crying as she says it. And Cordelia has a moment where she's like, yeah, sure, okay. Like, again, I say this every time, but like, Cordelia is a great character. I like Cordelia a lot. And it's because Cordelia would be very easy to dismiss as just like the ditz or the self-absorbed prick. But like the reality is that there are a lot of moments that are usually kind of minor where you see Cordelia and it's very clear that she cares, right? It's very clear that she has affection. And so a moment like that it's easy to gloss over, but the reality is Cordelia came here and she was like, okay, I want to do some homework. And then she started going off about whatever. And like, okay, if you watch it from audience perspective, you're thinking like, oh my god, here comes Cordelia to disrupt the situation again where we're having a serious scene. But if you're in the shoes of Cordelia, she doesn't know what the fuck's going on. And then Buffy says like, I don't know you to Giles, which is very dramatic and very good. But then Cordelia is like, oh my god, did she forget who she is? Okay, no, he's Giles, you can trust him, like you're Buffy, that's your name. But then she's just like, can you give me a ride home? And Cordelia's like, okay, sure, I'll help. And I like that because it means that Cordelia is going out of her way to help Buffy out. Like we know that she had plans because that was her reasoning for entering the scene. And then she's like, I am going to dismiss my plans in order to help Buffy out. Because it's also the fact that like she can probably see that there is something going on with Buffy. She's crying. I don't know what it is, but okay, I'm not going to ask questions. I'm just going to help. That's good. I like that. I like that about Cordelia. I like whenever we get scenes like that with Cordelia because I feel like we get a lot of those minor scenes. But every time she's front and center, it feels like she's being an asshole. And she is. And it's usually because she is being self-centered. That's not really a showcase of like evil. She's not actually deciding to be like that. She's just kind of like that. And whenever she actually does get to make a choice, it's usually something that's understandable or good in nature. Like again, we can look back at the Wish episode and be like, oh, she just wanted everyone to just be gone and dead or whatever. But like, no, she didn't. She was just like being petty, and she earned the right to be petty after what happened, after being cheated on. And we see that she very clearly didn't want things to be as bad as they became. Sorry, I'm just going off on a Cordelia rant. And this episode didn't really have a lot of Cordelia in it, but I enjoyed what I saw. I mean, on the Giles front, how does this make me feel regarding Giles? Me personally? I feel, and this is weird because I'm also keeping in mind a lot of the like, I don't know, Reptile Boy episodes where they are episodes where I feel like Giles is often like, Buffy, you gotta do your duties, you gotta keep responsibility in mind or whatever, right? But then we get episodes where it feels like that Giles is completely different from the Giles that I just mentioned. I feel like Giles is different depending on the episode. It's literally up to the writer what version of Giles we're gonna get each episode. Some episodes it feels like he cares a lot, and some episodes it feels like he doesn't care enough, and he's just the bookman doing the book work. So fun fact, this was an episode where it was Buffy's birthday and her dad wasn't there for it. And I just remembered that it was my dad's birthday and I forgot to send him a message. So I'm gonna do that right now before I forget again. So in this episode, I like Giles as a character. I do. This episode, I feel like I can understand some people losing trust in Giles like completely after the whole thing with the drugs. Like, I don't entirely, because I've been here for like 50 episodes. Like, I know Giles, I get Giles. Sometimes it varies depending on the episode, but generally I get Giles and I know I can trust them. And that's kind of also what the show is telling you here, because the show is also telling you at the end that he cares, he will go and he will get into battle in order to protect Buffy if need be. And that's why he's being removed from his watcher duties and being replaced by someone else, because he cares too much. And Buffy kind of accepts that too, which is the scene where, I mean, the previous scene that they were together, Buffy was like, "Don't touch me." This scene, Giles grabs them like a cloth with some alcohol, I guess, on disinfectant, and he starts to like rub it on Buffy's wounds, and she lets him do it. And it's one of those like bonding activities that shows intimacy. And I like that this scene came immediately after the previous old watcher guy just saying something like, "You have like fatherly love for her," because then we see her and it's like, yeah, okay, like he's essentially a dad to Buffy. He's a parent to Buffy. This is something we've just seen throughout the show. This makes complete sense, and this is just something that in text is just being said to us. He is essentially like Buffy's dad in some weird way, where Buffy doesn't have a dad, but Giles is there for her, and she trusts Giles. And Giles, despite all the fucked up shit that like a watcher kind of needs to do, he does care about her, and he will do whatever he can in order to like help her or protect her or something. And like, to me, it's interesting because like I feel like if we had, and we can, and this is something we can just stipulate, this is something that we can say with certainty. I feel like if the test would have gone the way it was meant to go, which is we're just gonna throw Buffy a weekend to Buffy to fight this one vampire, I feel like maybe if all the watchers are just kind of watching this, if they're just watching this encounter happen, if at any point he saw Buffy like kind of losing, he would just like burst into the room and be like, "I'm gonna help," you know? Like, I feel like he's that kind of person. He's the kind of guy that I feel like he would do the things according to procedure, according to the rules, but then when he sees it happen, he would be like, "No, I'm not about this." So he would actually go in and actually do something about it. I just feel bad for Buffy. I guess that's where I'm at, you know? Like, I trust Giles generally. I feel like he's a person that will sometimes make mistakes because, okay, I suppose this brings the question of why would Giles care so much about following procedure, about following the rules, about doing what's meant to be done, what's proper, what's traditional? And the answer is because Giles fucking hates himself, and he feels really guilty over things that happened when he was younger, and as a result he has developed a persona where he does everything that is right because he feels guilty over doing the opposite. However, what is right, what's meant to be done, is not always the correct thing to do. So he enters this situation where he's being pulled into different directions. He doesn't know what to do. I like that. I actually do like that about a character struggle. So I like that for Giles, and I like that this episode was that. But I kind of wish that we would have heard more from him and how he actually felt. But what you get is good enough, I think. I want to hear more of that in the future episodes, because I feel like because this essentially introduced a storyline that's not done here, which is Giles stops being Buffy's watcher. So we'll see how this goes and develops, but I like it. something I forgot to talk about because I got interrupted earlier, but it was about Buffy essentially, like, the reason why this works is because you see Buffy being vulnerable, and you see it in stuff like, okay, like, she tries to fight a bully, and the bully just fucking pushes her, and she just falls over. She has no strength to do that. She's fighting a vampire, and the vampire, like, almost kills her. But then you see it in something more like, she's walking back home, and you see two dudes start calling her, and then she just freezes, and she doesn't know what the fuck to do, and then she just keeps walking and hopes that nothing happens. Luckily, she's correct for about 30 seconds before two boss level vampires ambush her, which is, alright, fuck it. I guess this is happening. And it's the thing where, like, she's so scared, and she also doesn't know what to do, but like, sometimes it becomes very apparent. And it's not like this is something that just disappears, but sometimes it becomes really apparent that we're dealing with a kid here, and we have to, like, remind ourselves that we're dealing with someone who is a kid, someone who doesn't know what the fuck to do and is confused. And a lot of her, like, a lot of what she has become in the past 3-4 years, which is also, like, incredibly important years for developmental purposes, she just kind of solved her problems by just punching them. She doesn't have access to that anymore. So now she's like, oh god, what do I do? So it's, again, it's the confusion, it's the fear, it's like, I don't know what to do in the world anymore. So that's another aspect of it that is very important that we need to address. And I like that the show shows you that. And that's the reason why that entire, like, drama, like, beat works. Because you see how much she's hurting, you see how afraid she is. And now that it's being revealed that Giles did this, she's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? So, there you go. I like that. I like that to show that. Another thing I just want to mention about this episode before I forget, I don't know if there's anything else I can mention, but one thing is, I like this vampire. The vampire for this episode, I forgot his name, Cleifer. I don't know, something Cleifer, something with a K. I like that guy because he was, like, incredibly dramatic, like incredibly theatrical, that it kind of reminded me of the Master. And I also like the way he died. He just, dumbass, just fucking drank holy water. That's good. I like that because it is a fun solution Buffy came up with. It's almost like a JoJo solution, which I like, you know. Again, I'm recording a video, so I have to mention JoJo at some point, and that's kind of my brand here. But yeah, I do like that solution. It's like, she can tell that this vampire has a thing, he has to drink his pills or whatever, which is funny. A vampire has to drink his pills. It's a funny thing to say. So she just gives them to him, and then she just fucking puts some water on the cup, but it was holy water, and he just drinks it, and then he just fucking dies. I mean, the way he died, I feel like it wasn't accurate. Like, we probably didn't have the effects to do this, but I would have liked if the water literally just, like, burned through his body. So it would have kind of become like a Mortal Kombat fatality, where, like, his body would literally just, like, start disintegrating, but it's like this specific, like, line across his, like, chest into, like, his pelvis, and then it would just be a man being split open, and that would do it. He would be fucked. But we didn't do that. He just kind of exploded into ashes. But, you know, if we were a little bit more realistic, it would, like, burn him. It would disintegrate him. So I would like to see that happening. We didn't, but maybe in the future when we have better special effects, this show can become gorier. I mean, I don't know if the show ever changes rating. I feel like you would have to change rating in order to do that scene like that. Yo, fun fact about what I just said. I just remembered Ed Boon, the creator of Mortal Kombat, like, he was asked about, like, other guest characters he could get in the game, or that were in consideration to get in the game, because in Mortal Kombat there's guest characters like Predator and Alien and Terminator and Robocop. The Joker is in there, so, like, people ask him, like, about certain characters that were considered to be put in Mortal Kombat at one point, and he mentioned Buffy. He was like, yo, we could have put Buffy into Mortal Kombat. They didn't, but it was something that was on the table at one point. So now what I'm thinking is that could be one of Buffy's fatalities. She makes you drink holy water and then you disintegrate from the inside out. There you go. That's an idea right there. Ed Boon, my PayPal is open. You can send me like, I don't know, $50 my way. I'll take 50. So yeah, watch out for Mortal Kombat 12. My neck still hurts. And I feel like because I haven't been recording nearly as frequently as I did before summer, my voice is crackling a little bit because I'm just not used to talking as much as I did before. So yeah, I'm just gonna go now. Thank you so much everyone for watching this episode reaction to Buffy. See you guys next time. Alright everyone, thank you so much for watching this episode reaction to Buffy the Vampire Slayer. If you would like to watch the next couple episode reactions, you can already do so over at the Patreon. Support the channel, get full length episodes, and yeah, check out the link in the description below. See you guys next time. Take care everybody. Bye bye.